Hey guys, I'm Taylor,
I'm Joe.
and welcome to the We Tell You Show, our Friday show where we discuss just a topic or anything. This week, as mentioned, last week was our question about Nintendo, which took up the whole show. This week is going to be our SNL debate. And why are we debating SNL, Joe? Do you remember why?
Well, because you're wrong, and you said it was funny.
Okay, so off camera, in between our show recordings, I mentioned that I asked if Joe was watching Saturday Night Live, the current Saturday Night Live, that even though she's not a series regular, or she's not even a cast member, Melissa McCartney did pretty. I think pretty funny as Sean Spicer. The Trump stuff is hit or miss. Some things it's more like yes, it's a good impression, but sometimes the lines aren't written that well. But they are using, and I really like the Weekend Update. Some people call them boring. I actually like the Weekend Update. I think it's a good team and
Who's
good
the
funny.
new Weekend Update person?
It was Michael Che and I can't remember the guy's name. I do apologize. Michael Che and Mikey Day. Mikey Day.
Okay. So,
Okay. Yeah, two people you never heard of.
Two people I never heard of.
Actually, Michael Che was on the Daily Show for a while.
Oh, yeah, I saw him on that. That's
Okay.
right.
So I said it was funny. Now, granted, not all sketches are funny. Some, it depends on the host and the writing, and because you can only write to the host's strengths, and unfortunately, some hosts don't come from an actor, actress, what have you, or play world. They're sports so they don't have or any other. What do they do? They're singers, so they may perform when singing, but acting and reading lines, they aren't very good at it.
The problem with all this stuff is like, okay, all right, talk about Trump, talk about Hillary, all that other stuff, whatever. Okay. Let me just tell you, like, some suspicions I have. Right?
Okay, suspicions.
You ever notice that people that aren't very popular or have careers that have floundered or they haven't had a hit in a while or things haven't taken off for them?
Okay.
You ever notice every 4 years they suddenly become very politically active and vocal before an election? Like you got like the Sarah Silvermans out there and people like that.
Is that to research their?
Well, I would say it wasn't if they didn't directly benefit from those things being done. So what happens is after they cause a big ruckus on Twitter and let everyone know. Now, mind you, I'm consistent. I've never thought she was funny, ever. So I'm not going to tell you that Sarah Silverman, because she doesn't like Trump, she's not funny. I never thought she's funny. I didn't watch anything she's ever done.
Even her show?
No, the Sarah Silverman show, I don't care for it. Not interested. The clips I've seen weren't funny. Her character's not funny. It's always the same. It's one note. It's the same character over and over again. It's the I'm a little innocent little girl saying dirty things over and over again. It's the same stuff. There's a reason why everyone around her has taken off and been successful.
And she hasn't.
I mean, keep it coming. I mean, like everybody, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why every person around her has become successful and hit it, and she hasn't. And people she was hanging around at the time, Adam Carolla, Jimmy Kimmel, people like that, like tons of people in her area. Even female comedians that were her age, older or younger, and performing with her have hit it, and she hasn't. So I am so tired of celebrities that have floundering careers and aren't that famous or are becoming irrelevant using politics as, oh, I always cared and I've always been this way and I've always thought that this person was mean or this or whatever. Come join me. And then you find out that after they say all these things, lo and behold, Sarah Silverman's got a new TV deal and a comedy special coming out. Or then you find out like Patton Oswalt remember he was like just trashing on Trump and the whole, like now he has a comedy special coming out. So you'll notice that these people that it's almost like they're using comedy to be relevant. Now, you can argue as much as you want, but look at the ratings for Saturday Night Live before they started consistently bashing Trump.
Yeah.
Were you watching? Be honest.
Here and there I would, yes.
Here and there.
Depending on the host, I watched the first couple of sketches, see how the pacing was. I watched the Weekend Update. And then maybe if the musical act was something I liked, I watched the musical act.
So that's not strong support.
No, I would watch. Yeah, no, I'm not saying I'm not saying that I was a huge SNL fan. Like, oh yeah, Die Hard. I would watch a show. I would give I give it a couple of sketches. Like I said, depending on the host. It all depends on the host, really.
So what happens is you have like, let's just say all the people that are bashing and making fun of Trump.
Okay.
You have John Oliver. You have Samantha Bee, right?
Okay.
Her show. You have
Yeah.
Trevor Noah. You have who else on those?
Do you think these would all be? Well, isn't Stephen Colbert also?
Stephen Colbert, right?
Yeah.
All the people like that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their ratings before they were bashing on Trump. Look at Stephen Colbert was the lowest rated nightly show between the live shows, lower than Jimmy Fallon, lower than Jimmy Kimmel,
And Conan O'Brien.
and he was doing very badly. And then all of a sudden he starts turning it into a political Trump bashing show. All of a sudden he's popular. And then you have Jon Stewart. Now, Jon Stewart wasn't involved in the election, and he wasn't a guy who was bashing Trump particularly.
Mm-hmm.
But we know what side he leans on.
Yeah.
He consistently delivered a great product. It was a funny show. It was
And
great.
he also has been shown on Stephen Colbert's show doing bits.
John Oliver has a good show. I don't agree with everything he says, but it's a good product. I'm not going to lie just because I'm not necessarily a fan of his politics.
Mm-hmm.
He does a great show. It's a very entertaining show.
Do you think
show.
his politics are based on him himself or the writers?
Well, here's a problem is because remember he had shows about civil forfeiture. He had shows about medical, Medicaid, Medicare. He had shows about all these different topics.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, 6 months before the election, it turned into Trump bash, Trump bash, Trump bash. So it's hard for me to believe that it's genuine when all of them are seeing a ratings boost by switching their formats.
Yeah.
So I thought John Oliver was better when he was doing a service for maybe unknown things people weren't talking about, maybe things that weren't brought up every day in the news. But when he turns into Trump bashing consistently, he's not teaching anyone or educating anyone on anything of particular importance. He's just being like everyone else and delivering basically a message that just lets you agree with yourself all day long.
Okay, but that's
Sorry, why I brought those up was because they are all better at their job at bashing Trump. So that's why I brought that up. So to bring it around full circle, they are all better. It's comedy and politics, right? That's what it is. It's political comedy.
That's one thing Saturday Night Live's been known for a lot since the beginning. It's
and
always
they're the worst at it. So all the people that I named, are all way better at it than Saturday Night Live.
Now again, all those shows have writers? Do you think it's SNL writers or the performers that are the issue for you?
Well, the performers are so subpar that they have to bring in better actors to do the performances, right? If the performers were good, why are they bringing Melissa McCarthy in to do Sean Spicer? Everyone talks about how good she is as Sean Spicer, right?
Yeah.
If they're so good, why are they bringing Alec Baldwin in to play Trump? So if they have to bring in talent outside the show to enhance the performances or get people to talk about them, their talent pool on the show isn't that great.
Okay.
And the only reason that we know about some of the talent on their show is because they've been involved in controversy, not necessarily because they're funny.
What do you mean controversy?
Like Leslie Jones. Stuff like that. So I don't know of her being funny. I just know about her getting in arguments on Twitter, which isn't funny. I know John Oliver, and he's funny. And I know Jon Stewart, and he's funny. I know a lot of that stuff. And I don't know Trevor Noah being particularly funny.
Any stand-up or anything? Your stand-up or any social media stuff?
Can you name a joke that he says is funny?
No, I've never seen his stand-up. I know stand-up on Netflix, but I never watched it. But I know that, again, he's on a show that has writers, so he writes for him. I don't. Do you think he actually writes for himself? And he participates in any jokes? Did any of these people participate in any jokes?
I think that the reason why Jon Stewart's show was better when he was hosting a daily show at most of these shows is because he was the editor-in-chief, right? So when people bring writing to his show, he tells them what to do and what to put, and if something's not funny, he throws it out and says we can do better or we'll change it, right?
Okay.
So I think when you're new to a show like Trevor Noah and you bring in a bunch of people with low-hanging fruit, and low-hanging fruit is Trump jokes, right?
Yeah.
Very low-hanging.
Yeah.
They are all agreeing with each other, and no real editing is getting done in there.
Okay.
He's not really saying, you know what, we can come up with something more creative, guys. Let's go ahead and take the Trump stuff out this week and pop in something new. John Oliver's doing that. John Oliver has new bits that don't have to do with Trump that are coming out that are really great. We just talked about one the other day that he did.
Yeah, but he also does sprinkle in some Trump in the beginning. So he gives the audience what they come to see.
He was all Trump for a long time, and then he's gone back to being John Oliver.
That was during the elections where everybody was talking about the elections. So he had to, and then to show his side or the side of the show. Then they had to pick a side. And they had to go forward with that. Granted, there were some Hillary jabs as well. Not to show too biased, but for the most part, they are left. Would they be left, right?
Obviously,
yeah.
I mean, they're left wing, right? They obviously had a candidate that they chose. They obviously had a candidate that they loved and wanted to win, and I get that, right?
So, for Saturday Night Live, do you think everybody on that show was left?
It's hard not to be left, and whether people believe it or not, or they want to themselves believe it or not, they're in New York, they're in the city, they're all performers, they're all actors, they're all writers.
Yeah.
What typical jobs do you know people? What political affiliation do people with jobs like that typically have?
What, left?
Performing arts majors,
yeah.
People that do like artistic studies, comedic studies, people that go to art colleges, stuff like that. Typically left-leaning people. That's what they do. They're not people that are working in steel mills and farms and things like that. And they're big city people. Big city people are always left-wing in more populated areas. It's how it usually is.
Okay.
So SNL, when they're doing hitting comedy, they're getting better ratings. They're getting the best ratings they've gotten in years because of their Trump bits.
So you're saying that it doesn't really matter how good the comedy is, but the content is concerning Trump, so they have to get watched so they have viewers.
Yeah, they're doing the same thing that for example, Jon Stewart is an originator of his content. Wouldn't you say? Like The Daily Show and the way he did it was the only way that show had ever been done until he did it. Right?
Is that because he pulled from his stand-up as well?
Well, he did stand-up. He did it like it was news. He did it like it was politics, and he made fun of them, right?
Yeah.
How many copycats would you say that do Jon Stewart now?
John Oliver.
I mean, his predecessors, all the people that hosted for him, things like that, right?
Samantha Bee. Yeah, you're right. Everybody on the Daily Show.
So I think SNL has discovered that is their competition, and that in order to appease that audience and in order to get some of those viewership back, they need to do exactly what those shows are doing, but instead they can't do it the way that those people do those shows because their format isn't like that. So they have to do the same exact thing, but through sketch comedy instead.
So you're saying jumping on the bandwagon of Trump only to get viewers is what they're doing?
That's exactly what I'm saying that they're doing.
So comedy, the writing stays the same, but now it's just geared towards, this is a sketch about X, Y, and Z, but also X, Y, and Z and Trump. They're
saying all these other guys are doing it, and we should be doing that too. That's all they're doing.
So that's why you're saying that SNL is not funny. It's not so much funny, but the topics are so relatable that a lot of people who be watching the entire live who don't like Trump would laugh because it's relatable to them.
Because it's just what they've already wanted to see. They came for that. They're basically, it's like when you go to a concert, like you said, you're going to a Metallica concert.
Yes.
It's like you in the back saying, "Hey, play the old stuff." You know how much bands hate that?
Yeah.
Play the hits. That's what Saturday Night Live is doing every single week. They're playing the hits.
Yeah.
They're playing the Trump hits.
Trumpets.
So that's why it's a bad show. So like I'm sitting there and I'm telling you, I can look at comedy. I've seen a lot of comedy. I go to a comedy place all the time. I study a lot of comedy. I'm a hilarious man myself. I already know that.
That was a pretty funny joke. You study comedy.
But like Amy Schumer's comedy, right? People are mad at her because she gets into politics now, or she bashes Trump or does things like that, or whatever. The problem with Amy Schumer's comedy is nothing's changed about her comedy. She talked about being a raging slut, and now she still talks about being a raging slut. It's the same comedy over and over again. Mm-hmm. People that are dynamic and creative and intelligent and change over time have consistent viewership. SNL will fade over this year, will fade over next year, and go back to the basement where they belong. John Oliver and his show is very creative, very dynamic, and will probably continue to succeed and excel. So will Samantha Bee and people like that. Okay. But Saturday Night Live does not have that. Saturday Night Live does not have that creative staying power. There's nothing that they've done besides the same old for the past 40-something years. Mm-hmm. And their only chance to remain on television is by doing what's topical, and that's it. I mean, remember Schmitzke? Remember, yes. I mean, talk about some of the most hilarious sketches. Da Bears, of all time, whatever. Will these sketches be remembered?
That was all during a certain cast, though, too. That the era that cast was that certain era. That was what Adam Sandler, David Spade, Mike Myers.
Are you saying talent? Are you saying talented?
Oh yeah, I'm saying okay.
Chris Rock, to say Chris Rock too.
Chris Rock and Chris Farley. Everybody. Farley was there, but I'm saying that was all during a certain sketch in a certain area, certain time period. I can't speak. Now, is that time period more funny because of the actors or the writing?
See, it depends, because a lot of times with SNL's curse is a lot of times when people leave SNL, they talk about how funny these people were that left SNL, right?
Okay.
Like, I don't remember anyone talking about during SNL how funny Kristen Wiig, Bill Hader, and all those other guys were.
I like Bill Hader.
Until after they left into their own things. Don't people talk about those comedians more for the work they did outside of SNL than the work they did in it? Like, we talk about Portlandia, right?
Yeah.
Because his show, what's his name?
I totally not Frank, but
Portlandia in his show is funnier than his skits were on SNL.
Because for the most part, I believe Portlandia, he may be writing his own skits.
Yeah, and then so is Bill Hader. His work outside SNL is funnier.
He works on Saturday Night Live. He works on South Park as well. Bill Hader does.
Yeah,
as a writer.
So the environment of SNL itself is handcuffing in itself, right? Mm-hmm. And it's very generalized, very watered down, very the politics are very low hanging because they need to be.
Yeah,
and it's just that I can't tell the generation now if they're funny or not, or if SNL is so desperate with its political ploys that it handcuffs the people that are there. Maybe they are funny. Maybe we'll find out later, like we found out with this current SNL. Because no one talked about these people on SNL until they went after it. And no one talked about, what was the SNL character who played Sarah Palin during the 2012 election? Tina Fey, right? Mm-hmm. No one talked about her before she started playing Sarah Palin. And they said it put her on the map, right?
Yeah, and then she went and got 30 Rock, which I really enjoy 30 Rock.
Exactly, right? So don't you see that politics and bashing certain types of groups in politics is not really genuine? It's kind of like a launching pad for success. Yeah. So what's happening is they're not really funny. They're just using it as a launching pad to further their other career obligations. So it's not genuine. They're not really on that political side. They're doing it for their own advancement, their own careers. It's the same jokes over and over again. It's not really funny.
Okay.
And the only people that find it funny are people that already agree with it in the first place.
Okay.
Will these skits be legendary when we look back at them? How will they age?
I don't know. If anything, maybe the digital shorts, the digital ones, like when Andy Samberg was doing digital shorts, maybe like those.
Andy Samberg is a great one that you brought up, right? What is Andy Samberg known for?
Well, digital shorts, the funny songs, the Lazy Sunday, I came the one who comes in his pants.
Dick in a Box.
Dick in a Box, yeah. Anyway,
so all those ones they're not topical comedy, right?
Yeah.
So you can look at that 10 years later and you can go, "That's funny. He had his penis in a box," right? So that's the thing about this political humor and political commentary is it's not really funny, and it won't be remembered as funny. It's only funny right now because we're like, "Ha, look at Trump. He's so stupid. Ha ha." Let's all pat ourselves on the back. That's not what makes you a good comedian. This is why Andy Samberg transitioned SNL and moved on, because he had original comedy that you can look back and it stood the test of time and it wasn't topical and it was very creative and very unique. And that's why he has a career outside of SNL now.
In Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, exactly. In Brooklyn, in a show that he does write and act for. So this the topical humor in every other show, it never lasts. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't last even if it's on The Simpsons or even if it's on South Park, which are great shows.
Yeah.
It doesn't last. So all this topical humor out now is just more of the same. It's circle jerking each other to laugh because you already have that opinion, but overall, it's not actually really funny, and it's not going to stand the test of time.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think
It's
that
funny?
this really wasn't. I'm still, well, you know, just like in debates, you know, there really is no audience here except you guys here. You guys are the audience. Joe is anti SNL because he believes it's not funny. I believe it is funny. Yes, the things I did mention were non-cast members doing impressions and showing up at certain times. But then again, I also like Weekend Update because those are quick jokes, and yes, they're all about current day, and they do fall into the same category as John Oliver, where they are news and they have a funny picture and they make a joke. It's just like it's set up joke. It's all it is. It's quick and set up joke. That's all it is. And that's how John Oliver is. When they do it, they do the setup, they joke, and they have, you know, except he's able to go a little more in depth and give more, you know, education about what's going on, in their way. You know, again, yes, like Joe said, they do have an agenda. So the education that's being given is being tailored to their side. Tailored to their side. So yeah, so maybe, you know, maybe I am only liking those certain ones, but yes, but there are generally times when I think sketches are funny, depending on the host and the way the sketch is written and the joke. That's really how it goes. And they had a really easy United joke, United and Pepsi joke ad. You know, the whole United and the Pepsi ad that was going on.
Yeah.
They had a small sketch. It was like 3-4 minutes where they fit both of those into the ad. So they knocked off 2 quick topical issues in one sketch. It wasn't the funniest. It was one of those, oh, that's where it comes. That's where it was going, because you didn't really know where the sketch was going. And then you find out what was happening, and you thought one part with the sketch was supposed to be the punchline, but it wasn't. So I don't know. You know, it's just sketch by sketch for me. Yes, not all sketches are winners. There are some duds, like I mentioned, and the musical guests aren't always the best. Weird people, I have no idea, who I don't know and who I don't wish to see.
They're not even the top 10 in shows that give a good weekend update.
Yeah.
The update is better from Colbert, Kimmel, Fallon, Samantha Bee, John
Again, writers.
Everyone does a better update.
Yeah.
So who do we blame on this one and why SNL's bad?
I guess you can blame writers. The writers are bad.
Well, they're going to go on strike, so we'll see. If the writers go on strike and all of a sudden the content gets better, then we're going to see, right?
Maybe. But I do know the actors are asked to submit sketches, so we'll see. We shall see. On that note, our time is up. We were going a little long this week, again, like last week.
Who won, me or Taylor? Write it down in the comments below.
Yeah. If you're for SNL like I am, or even for a couple of sketches here and there like I am, or against SNL like Joe is.
How about you do this? If you're against Trump, give it a thumbs up, right? And if you're for Trump, give the video a thumbs down. And if you don't give it a thumbs up and you don't vote, you are a Trump supporter and you want the wall built. Those are just facts.
You're just reiterating what you said the SNL people do. That's all. That was just a clever way of putting that.
So that means we should get a lot of thumbs ups. Because we run a very liberal show here.
Yes, in your thinking, yes. On that note, I'll see you next week. We will see you next week. My apologies, and don't forget to check the channel out on Monday for the next Joe Tells You.
Bob.
He's
gonna be really freaked out, like when he starts hearing these shows.
Hopefully, he watches it all the way through.
My name keeps coming up in the show.
I'm popular. I made it. All right, guys. Have a good day. Good night. Whatever. Maybe. Hopefully, it's not 2 a.m. like it is right now.